everyone. So I was not planning on this being my first little intro to YouTube or whatever, but I have been trying out a menstrual cup for the first time, and a lot of women on my Facebook friends list have never heard of a menstrual cup before or anything. I'm very curious to know more about it and everything and how it worked for me. So at the last minute, I decided to go ahead and do an actual review. I've been saying that I'm going to get my YouTube channel up and going for years now. I literally have everything. Right now I'm recording on my phone, but I have a camera and background and everything. I just haven't had the time or energy to actually do it or really fully commit to it. So I figured, well, since people were actually interested in a review on the menstrual cup and how it went for me, and I was actually recording some of the beginning stages or whatever. So I figured I'm sharing this with my Facebook friends. I have seen videos on YouTube where women still didn't know about it or anything. So I figured I would go ahead and just jump right on in. And so here we are. The cup I'm going to be talking about is the Honey Pot menstrual cup. Now, I don't have the actual box for it because, like I said, this was a last minute thing that I decided to go ahead and do. But I do have the cup here. And again, I'm sorry, I'm nervous, so please go easy on me. This is the first menstrual cup that I have tried. I tried it the last week while I was on my cycle, and man, so I will say that I am now definitely on the cup bandwagon. First, a little bit about the cup. So this is the Honey Pot Company menstrual cup. This is a size 2. They come in 2 sizes. What I wanted to say is that even when you're looking at the sizes, do not take them as an absolutely have to get this size because this is what they say. These are just for recommendations and what they feel will best fit, but every woman's anatomy is different. So if you find that a size doesn't work for you, like maybe you get a size 1 and you feel like that doesn't work for you, try another size. So I just wanted to say that because I've been watching a lot of videos, and a lot of people were under the impression that if the size didn't work for them because of what they recommended, then maybe it's not the right cup, when you might just need to try a different size. So I have their website pulled up only because, like I said, I don't have the box for this. It does say that you can wear it for up to 12 hours. It doesn't include any plastic, latex, or phthalates. I'm sorry, I'm butchering that. It is approved for overnight wear. You rinse and reuse it for 1 year or more. It's a great alternative for those who are sensitive to tampons or pads, and it comes into 2 different sizes to ensure comfortable fit and complete protection. So the first size they recommend for women that are between the ages of 19 and 30 with a light to medium flow. The size 2, which is what I have here, it's recommended for women that are over 30 or post-baby and with a medium to heavy flow. So I will say that when you use a menstrual cup for the first time, you will definitely learn a lot about your body. I learned that I actually have heavy cycles. And I never thought my cycles were heavy. I thought they were just normal, and I felt like they were normal for me. Now, granted, I've had, pain and, like pain from menstrual cramps and everything. There's times where I'm like sick to where I'm like throwing up and everything. I can't do anything around the house. I have to like go to sleep and stay asleep. I've missed school and everything because of it. I just thought that was just normal for me. So I didn't really know any better. And then I started using the menstrual cup, and it has measurements inside of it. So this cup holds up to 30 milliliters. The size 1 holds up to 25 milliliters. My second day of my cycle, I was definitely filling this up a couple times. I learned that heavy cycles are basically determined for anyone that has 80 milliliters or more for their entire cycle. My second day, I had like 95 milliliters by itself. So that was a little like, whoa, especially for me. I am trying to conceive. So, sometimes I wonder if maybe that has something to do with it. Sorry, let me plug this up. If maybe that has something to do with, another reason why we may have been having issues. But anyway, so that's that. It does come with some instructions. I actually did keep the instructions. And so there's a diagram here that shows like the different parts of the cup and everything. And it has instructions to tell you how to insert it. So basically, you want to fold it in half and push it inside and let the cup open up. So I was watching a bunch of videos because I wanted to, get this right and everything. And so I was using the punch down method, which is a really popular one. And so you just take it and you push it down to the middle and fold it like that and pull your finger out, and it has this little cup. And then when you insert it, let's see if I could do this right. When you insert it, you want to push on this little pop right here so that once it's in there and you push on that, it opens up. Ta-da! So that was the method that I tried the first day that I tried inserting it. And it wasn't opened all the way. So to make sure that it's opened all the way too, you want to stick your finger in your vagina and you want to feel around the outside of the cup, and you want to make sure that you don't feel any dents or anything. And I knew when I first inserted that I had a dip on there or whatever, but I was like, well, it seems still like it's going to be in a good place, so we'll just check it out and see. Of course, it was day one, very, very, very light, basically just spotting, so I wasn't too concerned about it. Plus, I'm at home, so I wasn't too concerned about it. I was just like, well, we're just going to give it a try and see. Yep, had some leaking. So the next fold I tried was the C fold, which is another popular one. So you push it down like this and then fold it over like that. And then you insert this. And as you insert it, as it goes up, it should pop open on its own. And like I had seen a lot of reviews and everything that were saying that they felt it opening up and stuff. And when I did the punch down method, I didn't feel any of that. And when I tried the C fold, I felt it. And I was like, oh, that's what they're talking about. Yay. Okay, so it's open. And I stuck my finger in and went all around it. And I pushed the walls of my vagina out just to make sure that if it was closed up somewhere, it will open back up. And then what I did with the stem is I moved it back and forth like this, up and down and back and forth, just to kind of get the cup to move around up top. And then I pinched the base of this and I just like lightly turned it around inside to make sure I got a good suction. And then I gave it a little tug, and if I felt like it wasn't coming back out, then I was like, okay, that should be good. We will see. So I did that, and I didn't have any leaking or anything. I didn't fill the cup or anything. It was comfortable for me to put in. It was comfortable for me to wear. The stem wasn't poking me or anything. These can be cut off if you need to. Like if they are poking you and they make you feel uncomfortable, you can trim them off. But I didn't have that issue. Basically, it was like a really easy experience for me, and I was just like really amazed. So because it was my first time using a cup, I wanted to record how much output that I was getting each time I changed it, so that in the future I can kind of gauge like how often I should, be taking it out and emptying it and putting it back in and everything, which is how I ended up, seeing about I possibly have very heavy menstrual cycles. And so one thing, like people want to know how to take it out. So the instructions on here do not say how to take it out, but on the bots, it did say on the bots how to take it out. And so what you want to do is you want to stick your finger in, hopefully you guys can see, and you want to try to pinch the bottom of it, or at least just push it in a little bit. And what it does is it pushes it in up there and it breaks the suction. And so then you can slowly go ahead and pull it out. Now, make sure you do it slowly. And it does feel weird when you're pulling it out. especially like for me, because it felt like I would get like the front of it out first and then the back of it will come on out, but I was still able to get it out where I'm holding it up right. Um, and I didn't have any messes or anything. It didn't spill on me accidentally or drop out of my hand or anything. And I'm just like, oh, okay. And the first time, I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is really interesting. Well, alrighty then. I just dumped it in the toilet. And like I said, I'm at home, so I just dumped it in the toilet and I wiped real quick, and then I waddled on over to the sink and rinsed it with cold water to help prevent staining. Um, and then I do have some of the Honey Pot sensitive foaming wash, so I would use that to wash it out as well. And then I waddle back over to the toilet and I'd fold it right on back up, and I would just go ahead and stick it back in. Um, I found videos by Put a Cup in It here on YouTube very helpful. They also have a website, putacupinit.com, that was very helpful. So I use those as resources. I also watched a lot of other videos. The Honey Pot cup is still new. It's only like maybe a month and a half old, maybe almost 2 months now. And so like as of this morning, I only saw um like 3 videos that actually mention the honey pot cup. The one video, the woman was just saying that she got it and she was getting ready to try it, so she'll be posting a review soon. And then the other one, I had watched her video on when she first got it and said she was trying it. She posted a review comparing it to the soft cup, which I did purchase a soft cup. The putacupinit.com, they have a quiz that you can take, and it recommended the salt cup for me. I have not used this yet. I'm going to try this out the next cycle. I wanted to dedicate this cycle to this one. I will say that the soft cup is definitely softer than the honey pot cup, and definitely a little bit of a size difference. The honey pot is bigger. But for me, my experience was great. I fully enjoyed it. Even when I went to bed, and slept with it in and everything. Like the first night I slept with it in, I did have some leaking the next morning, but I didn't have any leaking until I got up and was getting out of bed and I went right to the bathroom. And I will say that the cup was full. And from what I've learned is that it wasn't full where it was like filled all the way up to the top. It was filled probably like right to like here, almost basically at the 25 milliliter line. So I had still a little bit of room. But from what I was learning from all the videos that I was watching about using menstrual cups is that if your cup is leaking and it's not full all the way up to the top, but almost, it may be because your cervix is actually inside the cup, which is taking some of the space out of that. So I probably had it pushed too far up. And I know for me, I did like push it up in there until I felt a little pressure, just because I wanted to make sure it was up there. But you do have to be careful with using cups because, like I said, everybody's anatomy is different. So you have some people who have really high cervix, you have some that have a really low cervix, and then some people even have a tilted cervix. So sometimes you can get the cup right underneath your cervix, just past your cervix. Or sometimes you may not get it up close enough to your cervix. And so that could cause leaking and issues, making it seem like the cup isn't working. But in actuality, it might just be that it's in the wrong position. Another issue that I've been seeing people have is that maybe the cup is too small. So if you're filling it up a lot and you still haven't leaking, you might want to try a larger cup. Just because the smaller size says it's for your age and for your type of flow, that doesn't mean that that's going to be the perfect size for you. It definitely is best to keep trying. I will say that I was lucky in that my very first time using the menstrual cup was great and I didn't have any issues, and this seems like a perfect cup for me. But everybody doesn't have that. So definitely check out putacupinit.com and the videos here on YouTube, because they definitely have some very helpful videos. They also have a Facebook group that you can get lots of help in and ask questions and stuff. Um, so yeah, there's definitely a lot of resources out there. This is something that's still very new to people. Well, to some people. Um, just like reusable pads and liners and tampons and things were very new to me. Like I just found out about those last week when I got my cup. But it's great that there's things like this out there to help save you money as well as to keep our earth nice and green, giving people a chance that may not be able to have something to cater to their periods and help out with those situations. um some other things that I saw that were kind of concerning that I wanted to touch on is that people were asking questions like, well, can I leave it in longer than 12 hours? I personally would not leave it in longer than 12 hours, only because one, I feel like the products say up to 12 hours for a reason. Just because they say up to 12 hours doesn't mean you have to wear it up to 12 hours, or it doesn't mean that you're going to be able to wear it for 12 hours, because the only times I was able to actually wear it for 12 hours were like at the very end of my cycle where I was like barely bleeding. Um so it's definitely dependent on each woman's flow. But even still, I feel like you need to have that time to take it out and clean it, excuse me, before putting it back in. Um, and just give your vagina a quick breather, real quick. A lot of people don't realize that with just in just minutes, that bacteria can build up within your vagina as well as along your cup. And so the longer you leave the cup in without taking it out and cleaning it and properly emptying it and everything, um, the more susceptible you are to having vaginal irritations and having vaginal issues and everything, like bacterial vaginosis or a yeast infection or something, because you're leaving it in so long. Like I've seen a post on Reddit that women were leaving it in for a couple days at a time, or they were leaving it in for 24 hours, over 24 hours. And then they're saying, oh, but I took it out and it smelled horrible, but I still keep doing it. And I'm just like, well, it smells horrible because it's bacteria building up, and bacteria, that's what you're smelling. Stop, please. And people feel like, excuse me, just because they're not having an issue or they've been doing it for so long without any issues, that it's not an issue. And it's like, but you're still taking that risk. Another thing I wanted to touch on, because the reason why that conversation was brought up is because someone was asking about the possibility of toxic shock syndrome. You still have the same chance of getting toxic shock syndrome as you would with using tampons. I've read a couple different studies about that. So the concern is that you're introducing oxygen, as well as, you're introducing oxygen into the vagina. Bacteria by itself already loves dark, warm, moist place, which is the vagina. So TSS is caused by a bacteria called Staphylococcus aureus, and it loves oxygen. So when you're putting these cups in, you're actually pushing air in it, which is what causes the suction, and that air stays in it. That's what that bacteria wants. So it starts growing. The longer you're leaving this in there, and it's also in the perfect environment where it's warm and it's dark and it's moist and it's got other bacteria to feed on and everything, the more you're increasing your risk of getting toxic shock syndrome. I study biology, and I'm going into laboratory sciences and everything. So that's something that for me, I'm like, no, stop it. Please don't do that. Take it out. Take it out. Make sure you're taking it out. Make sure you're rinsing it between emptying if you can. Of course, if you're out in public or you're at work, you may not be able to do that. But you can at least take it out and dump it, and then maybe use a tissue, or take some of the feminine wipes with you and wash and wipe it out real quick, and then put it back in. And then of course, as soon as you get home, go ahead and try taking it out and rinsing it and everything. Then you also want to make sure that you're boiling it in hot water in between cycles, so that you can kind of sterilize it and give it like a deep clean. that is what I did with this. I didn't have any issues with it. It didn't mess it up or anything. That's what I plan on doing with my soft cup whenever the time comes for me to try that. But those are just things that I saw, over the last week or so that I've been looking into the menstrual cup and using it for myself. That I just wanted to make sure that I addressed in my video because I don't see too many videos talking about it. And then, like I said, the honey pot cup is still fairly new, so there's only, as far as I know from this morning, there's only one actual full review video that tells what her experience was and everything with the actual cup. So yeah, that's mine. I like the cup. I have not seen them in stores or on any stores' websites. I ordered this directly from honeypot.co. I think that's the website. Whatever their website is, I ordered it directly from them. I'm in Savannah, Georgia, and they're in Atlanta, so I was able to get it within the next day. They do have both sizes in stock. And let me pull it back up because I believe it is $21.99. I did pay shipping. I think shipping was like $4 or $5, maybe $6. I don't remember. I'm sorry, I'm not good with those things. But for the investment, and you think about how much money you're saving over time, this is pretty good. I've talked to a couple of different women who were asking me questions about how I got into it and everything. And really, I knew menstrual cups were around, but I never really thought about trying them. I just started using organic pads and tampons just to be, cleaner and take better care of my vagina. And I knew about menstrual cups. I just wasn't really that into them. And so whatever. But I also tried the disc at 1.2, and I did not like that. And that's probably what kind of had a effect on me going and trying menstrual cups, is because I knew I didn't like the disc, and this is somewhat similar. But Honey Pots had posted on Facebook that they were coming out with a menstrual cup, and I have a couple of friends that use menstrual cups, and I was like, okay, well, I'll give it a try. And so I chose this as my first cup, and I have been completely happy and satisfied. The only thing that I will say is that depending on how sensitive you are, like when I was pulling it out, like I said, one part will come out before the other one. And so that could be a little bit uncomfortable. It wasn't uncomfortable for me where I was like, ooh, I don't like this, but it was just like a weird feeling where I'm just like, eh. So I just thought I'd mention that just in case, because, some women are more sensitive than others. But other than that, like, it's really quick and easy. And then I did notice that closer to the end of my cycle, as I wasn't bleeding as much, it was a little more difficult to get in. But a lot of women that have problems with inserting things, they do recommend to use a lubricant, like a silicone-based lubricant. No, I'm sorry, a water-based lubricant, whatever is safe for silicone. I'm sorry. Whatever is safe for silicone. I saw a lot of people that use toy cleaners. I don't know about that, but that works for them. Well, I'm sorry, that's just a cleaner. Oh, goodness. Anyways, I've seen people are using lube to help with their cup. They just lube up around the outside of it or whatever and fold it up and get it in, and that helps them. I just went on ahead and just stuck it in, and I didn't have any issues. I just noticed the difference between how easy it was when I was in the early stages of my period versus the end of my period. So thought I'd mention that too. I'm really curious in trying the soft cup. I did take the quiz on putacupinit.com, and they did recommend that for me. So I did, and that was one that I was already interested in. So I went on ahead and ordered it. And we'll try that next cycle. But for now, I am happy to be a part of the menstrual cup world. I also purchased some reusable pads on Amazon. I got 6 of them that are for medium to heavy flow for like $12. And even with those, you want to wash them first in cold water and then let them air dry, and then you can begin using them. And so I did use those while I was using my cup, just in case I had any leaking or anything. And I didn't have any issues. I just, I wore them and I just changed them, just, because I felt like I might have had them on too long. um, and then I washed them, like the first two or three, I went on ahead and washed them in cold water, and some soap in my sink. But I was like, well, I'm not getting anything on them, and I gotta regular wash them anyways. So if anything, they just got sweat on them. So I just went on ahead and threw them in a wash, with some cold water and no fabric softener. Um, Threw them in the washer, and then once they were done, I went on ahead and just hung them up on my shower so they can dry. But it's been a very interesting and exciting time to go ahead and switch to, reusable products and, decrease my carbon footprint on this earth. Anybody has any questions, please let me know. Drop a comment drop a comment down below. I'll try to get back to you. But yeah, definitely, if you're interested in trying the honey pot cup, definitely try it out. Someone did say that it is a little firmer than the Diva cup. But hey, you never know. Try it out. It might work for you. I think that's really all I have to say. I'm gonna go ahead and get this uploaded. And then hopefully the next time I have a video to post, it'll be a real video, a nice video that, is like got a background and maybe a little soft music and, an actual intro or something. I don't know, but yeah, that's it. One of these days I'm gonna get this channel up and really rolling. But for now, this is more so for my personal friends. I just wanted to go ahead and give an update and a quick little review on my honey pot cup and how much I actually liked it and enjoyed it, and I had a good time with it, and I'm glad I didn't have any issues. But if you do have issues, there are ways to kind of try to find a solution to those, and sometimes it might just be that isn't the cup for you. You might just want to try a different cup. Everybody's different, and depending on your anatomy, depends on what type of cup you have, what type of cup you need. Like I said, I'm just one of the lucky ones that tried a cup for the first time and had no issues at all with putting it in or taking it out or any leaking. So definitely, if you want to learn more about it, you can ask me, as I'm still learning too. Or, like I said, putacupinit.com, or their videos here on YouTube have been very helpful. Another lady that I was watching, I think her name is I'm just Kelly or something like that. She has really great videos too, and I really love her videos because they're very descriptive and they're very real. So I'll try to put a link to her videos down below as well, so you can check her out. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys, and I'll see you next time whenever I decide to be random and put a video up.